here. So I got a couple of things to talk about. I'm not talking to you, okay? I'm talking to them. What was that all about? Holy Toledo. You hear this kid? He's like, wait, are we talking now? Next thing you know, he'll start biting the headphones and everything. So I've got a couple of things to talk about. I found an article that's comparing what's his name from Kang from Marvel, Flash from DC, and how both of them are controversial subjects, yet only one of them is losing his movie. Feather or something there. Anyway, I thought this is very interesting because I did always skim the Evite, right? I'd skimmed the freaking article, and of course, I didn't see anything that was really in depth. I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this because it bears talking about. The Flash movie's coming out. Seen the preview. Looks awesome. The preview really does look awesome. Where is it? There it is. It looks awesome. I'm looking forward to this film. I was looking forward for before I saw this new preview, but holy crap, this sent it into overdrive. And I know a lot of people are kind of against it because of Ezra Miller and what he's done. And I get it. I understand. The dude is not a good dude. Now, I've been watching a lot of movies over my 53 years, and a lot of them have to do or have people who are not good people. And even if we know now, we've got all sorts of social media that tells us stories that we didn't get back in the 80s and 90s, 70s, so forth. And we found out these people were complete trash types and so forth. I just got to say I'm able to look past a lot of stuff. If the art is good, I'm able to look past a lot of stuff. There are some things people always look past. Da-na-na-na-na. Hey, da-da-da-da-da-da. Love it in sports events. It's used in commercials. The guy was a child molester. So what do we do? What do we do about movies when it comes to people who are immoral and so forth? So like I said, I'm very good at separating art from artists. And I heard, but Englentine, he started a cult, and didn't he kidnap a chick? Hey, ambition, right? The point being is that none of what I have heard is going to stop me from seeing this movie. And I have a feeling you're going to get a lot of people who are going to go, I'm not watching that. And then they're going to watch it and you're not going to know. Right. Or they'll maybe even if in social media they slip up, they're going to say something along the lines, well, I pirated it. Yeah, that's what happened. Nah, you went inside. Look, we're geeks. We're superhero fans. And we say, oh, I'm going to ban this and I'm going to ban that. There's no moral points to this shit. I point that all the time. Oh, it failed. Yay. Why are you celebrating a failure of a superhero movie? It doesn't make sense. I've pointed this kind of hypocrisy, this kind of weird obsession with the failure of our medium. It just amazes me. Now, another thing that gets pointed out when it comes to Ezra Miller, and I keep forgetting the guy's name, Creed 2, plays Kang. You know what? I've got the freaking article right here. I can just look it up. But I constantly keep forgetting his name. A great freaking actor, too. Jonathan Majors. Okay, so I saw this article, and it's comparing Jonathan Majors to Ezra Miller. And the two of them, of course, Jonathan Majors is accused of beating women and all that kind of stuff. What's up, Rachel P? How you doing, Dave? And Jay saying, the Flash does look awesome, doesn't it? I can't wait. I'm really jazzed. I'm jazzed for the Guardians, and I hear people go, well, you know it's going to suck. You know, fuck you. You know, just move on. Move on. Get out. Just go on ahead, you know? Watch the movie, and if it sucks, hey, okay. I get it. But like I said, this obsession with wanting failure in our genre, it amazes me. Look, I don't even want Marvel to fail. Modern Marvel comics, I want them to learn and succeed by doing what's right with the characters. Now you could say, well, I want these titles to fail as they are, and they are failing. I just want them to rehabilitate, which we're going to talk about right now in this article I found, which is what it's from. It's from Bleeding Fool. and it's called, let me share this out here. The first time I tried this, I forgot to get the bird out of the cage, and I had everything ready to go. But unfortunately, Twiddles wouldn't let me talk. I was like, God dang it, I forgot to get him out of the cage. So I said, what the flash? Okay, I got to stop. Let's redo this. What the flash? Warner Brothers convenient rehab of an accused child groomer. Now, one thing we do have to point out, accused, all right? Not convicted. Look, if he is, go to jail. Let's throw away the key. I'm okay with that. You guys know my opinion on child molesters and such. He goes on to say the Flash, the DC Comics superhero adventure starring Ezra Miller, played to what Variety says was a mostly enthusiastic audience at the annual convention of movie theater owners in Las Vegas on Tuesday evening. In the lead up to the debut, executives, they used to call a show West. I think they call it something else now, Cine East or something like that. I'm old school movie theater guy, so I know all the old lingo. Let's see. In the lead up to debut, executives at Warner Brothers and DC touted The Flash as one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. Of course they are. Of course they are. I'm not a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan, says Jay Lewson, but the trailers look great, don't they, though? It may not have cleared those stratospheric expectations, but after repeated delays and a much-reported crime spree of the titular star, the finished product apparently elicited plenty of cheers at Caesar's Palace this week. Now, this could be premiere-itis. You know, somebody goes to the premiere, they're excited for the film. Woo, best thing ever. Star Trek V had a great premiere. People loved it. People had a fan-freaking-tastic time. And then normal people went and saw it and went, what the F is this? And those reviews, woo. Alleged, but he did it, says Norm Macdonald. I know, I love that. Norm Macdonald's whole run on O.J. Simpson was awesome. While the CinemaCon is hardly a Cannes film festival with an audience filled with movie theater owners from across the globe who have vested interest in the success of blockbuster, hopeful showcasing The Flash in this capacity is another sign of Warner Brothers' passionate support of the project, one that has been plagued over the years with controversy surrounding Miller. Okay, what this is, and this is very similar to Show East and such. Show West. What it is like Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, so forth and so on, bring all the movies that they want to show and say, hey, this is going to be our summer blockbuster. This is going to be our fall blockbuster. And movie theaters make bids. And they'll say, well, you know what? We want this many in our film, and we're willing to give you 60 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar. If it's a movie like Endgame, they might actually give 90% on the dollar because they know that most of the people coming into those theaters are going to spend a shit ton of money. Got to head out for food. Well, take care, Rachel, because they're going to spend a shit ton of money at the concession stand. So getting people in, okay, they're fine. So Warner Brothers shows them Flash. People get excited and they go, I'm going to give you 70 cents on the dollar on every ticket. So if it's it's a $10 ticket, then Warner Brothers will make $7 of it. The theaters will keep $3. That's basically how it works. Now, if they see a movie and they're like, oh, that Flash movie has sucked, we'll give you 50 cents on the dollar. You know, that's the way it works. Okay, so let's see. One that has been plagued over the years with controversy surrounding Miller, as well as a myriad director shakeups, COVID-19 delays, and regime change at the studios and at DC CinemaCon marked the first screening of The Flash ahead of its theatrical debut on June 16th. Dalton, you want to jump in? Here, let me give you the thing. I could use a fellow commentator, Jay, if you want. You know, come on in. There you go. Bum bum. Bada bum. Oh, I accidentally. Yeah, jump in if you guys want. I accidentally highlight your comment there. They're supporting it because they need Flashpoint, isn't it? Well, that's actually going to be the way it works. Also, we're going to get to that. You're jumping the gun a little bit here. Let me move on. Bump. All righty, here we are. The Flash will break open the DC multiverse by bringing together multiple versions of several iconic superheroes. The first trailer revealed that there will be at least 2 different Millers who play Barry, aka the Scarlet Speedster, across dimensions in the film. Barry travels to an alternate world, one where his mother wasn't murdered in order to prevent her death. In doing so, he becomes trapped in another reality where there aren't any superheroes. The main timeline's Barry must team up with the other world's Barry, plus Kryptonian Supergirl, in order to stop General Zod. Makes sense, okay. But following the screening of Ezra Miller's The Flash, which received rave reviews, John Nolt of Breitbart points out how the same entertainment industry that is currently destroying black actor Jonathan Majors over unfounded allegations is attempting to redeem the non-binary Miller, who is credibly accused of engaging in aggressive child grooming, among other disgusting acts. Now, I'm going to get to this, and then basically we're going to talk about what Dalton brought up, because he's dead freaking spot on. Oh, wait. No, I've got another way of saying this. I just remembered. I actually have something for it. Anytime Dalton hits a point.
The name is Dalton.
All right. So, but it's the truth. Look, the reason is they're going to make it a racial thing, and they're going to make it a gender identity thing. It's not a gender identity thing, nor is it a racist thing. It's a money thing. First of all, Flash is very important in the transformation from Snyderverse to Gunverse. And second of all, Jonathan Majors is in between movies. They can recast.
And the Kang storyline hasn't really gotten so far off the ground that they're beyond the point of no return. So they can play, oh wait, that was a Kang from another multiverse or another universe within the multiverse, and this is a real Kang. Insert whoever they're going to replace Jonathan Majors with. By all
accounts, by all reports, Ezra Miller is out after this movie. Everything we've heard, there's going to be a recast of the Flash after this movie. So this isn't a big thing like, oh my gosh, they're keeping Ezra Miller because he says he's non-binary. This is a big thing because they're saying, yeah, you know what? This is like it breaking after Ant-Man. And that's what happened. That's what happened with Jonathan Majors. This happened after Ant-Man, or maybe they would have gone, oh, maybe Ant-Man shouldn't come out. Maybe we should just put it on Disney Plus. But no, it's supposed to be the big turn. This is the big start of the Marvel push, just like DC has Flashpoint. The whole thing, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Breitbart, a conservative channel, is trying to push this, because they're pushing it on the, it's because he's non-binary. You know, and look, I would be right.
No, don't get me wrong. There's probably some favoritism going on there because Ezra Miller toes the social justice line like nobody's business. I mean, have you guys ever seen the interview between him and Gal Gadot, where he basically forced her to spew feminist?
It's incredibly bad.
And then she wouldn't even do it. It was hilarious.
I promise you guys. I promise you, I will never refer to Ezra Miller as a they. He's a he. Nobody is a they.
Right.
Yeah. So it says alleged perpetrator number 1. Alleged video of attack, strangulation of a woman surfaces. March 2022. Arrested for disorderly conduct for harassment in a karaoke bar. April 2022. Arrested to second. How was he not in jail already? That's what I want to know. Including hurling a chair and cutting a woman's head. May 2022, arrested for disorderly conduct and threatening police officers. June 22, one every month for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
And we haven't even gotten to the legitimate grooming accusation yet.
Yeah, one of those happened one of them happened like in a Home Depot. That's the video I saw.
That was the first one. That was the first
one. Yeah.
And then June is another accusation of June 22, accused of grooming 12-year-old girl with violence, intimidation, threat of violence, fear, paranoia. That's not the way to groom a 12-year-old, dude. Okay, I'm just kidding. June 2022, another accusation of grooming a 12-year-old. August 2022, charged with a felony burglary. Charged. Okay, look, I want to see the movie. I can separate art from artist. I'm very good at that. but charged. The Flash may be the biggest fucking film, and I'm gonna love it to death. The boy should be in jail a year
That's what
ago.
scares me too. There's one thing that does worry me. If this movie is huge and they try to spin it like, well, he's been in therapy and he's not drinking anymore and he's turned it around and this is the real Ezra Miller, and Zaslav or whoever comes out and says, well,
Yeah, no,
he
beat it,
deserves another
hipster
chance.
Rasputin.
Well,
don't care.
already they said that they're going to recast, but I'll say, you guys know, I mentioned this 2 streams ago, where we talked about we were talking about child endangerment. We were talking about pedophiles. I think he needs to hear a bullet go through his brain. I'm sorry, guys. I truly believe this. I do believe that you are born with your sexuality. So I actually am very empathic, or not. That's not the right word.
Empathetic.
Empathetic. Thank you. Towards people who are born this way, people who were born with a lust for children. I understand you did not roll this dice. You just got a bad hand.
But Darwin Award rules apply, and the
I'm
species
sorry.
is better off without you in the gene pool. Bye.
But my thinking is I cannot go to a school and point to a child and say, it is okay for this one to lose their innocence if you relapse. And I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's just, it's, you know, at one time, my kid, we lived up in Tallahassee in the woods, beautiful, beautiful area. And it was one of those things where we bought this kind of a mobile home. People always think of like a trailer, but no, this is actually, if you were inside, you could never tell it was a mobile home. And it was in the woods, great area. We loved it. And the kids loved to play in the yard. And one time we're in the yard and we were driving into our driveway, and I saw a rattlesnake cross the driveway. And I was like, holy shit, we got to tell the kids they can't play in the yard for a while. We need to find this rattlesnake. And we're doing some yard work, and I've got the hoe, and my brother's got a rake, so forth. And I see it. I see the rattlesnake. And because my children play in the yard, that creature had to die for what it was. We actually tried to call animal control, and they couldn't send anybody out. So that animal, he would have probably, if the kids ran up to him, probably struck one, and would not have been at any fault for him, because that's just what rattlesnakes do. That's their defense. But because what he was, this rattlesnake needed to die, because I will not in any way, shape, or form endanger my children like that.
I completely agree with you, but I think those people, the abusers, I think most of them are made or develop that as they get older. Most of them were actually abused themselves. So it's like a bad streak or a bad chain reaction of events. But you know, people that have these weird fetishes and stuff like that, they end up encouraging it, whether they start looking at porn or whatever else, and they let it grow. So,
and it's very obviously a trauma response, just like any other personality disorder. It's you know, they've done studies on people with narcissistic personality disorder. It's a trauma response. They've done sociopaths, it's a trauma response, and so on. They need to be removed
from the
probably a little bit of both.
All right.
Yeah.
Alleged perpetrator number 2. This is Jonathan Major, arrested for alleged assault of a woman. Media reports of multiple women coming forward with assault allegations. Now ask yourself, which one of these two is having his career aggressively annihilated, and which one is having his career aggressively rehabilitated? For a movie, if the allegations came out before Ant-Man, I would promise you, I have no guarantee, promise you that Marvel would have found a way to have twisted it or tried to silence it, knowing that their Ant-Man movie was coming up. Believe it or not, alleged perpetrator number 1 is currently, okay, I already read that. Majors is a black heterosexual masculine male. As Nolte goes on to point out, even in the mainstream press, the production teams are playing along. Miller is a non-binary white weirdo who uses they, them pronouns. By the way, you're fucking racist for using white. oh, wait, he does not use they, them pronouns. He is allowed to use the singular I, while everyone else is required to make full of themselves, speaking in the gobble. You know what? No, never do that. Never, ever freaking call somebody they, them. Never, don't call a he a she and a she a he, ever. That's me speaking. You know, normally it's like, oh, hey, you know what? You got to be careful what you speak when you're on YouTube, because you have some influence over people when you. So if I have any influence whatsoever, don't fall for the fucking pronoun game. Look, we were nice. We gave an inch. They took 5 miles and they went after the kids. And I'm sorry I'm sorry for the men who want to be women and the women who want to be men who don't do that. But you know what? You let the freaking crazies out of the cage and they're now running the roost. And that's on you guys. That's on the news. That's on everybody who let this happen. So no, I'm sorry. I told you guys before, I'm not playing the freaking game.
Right.
I'm not even using the words trans woman, trans man, because those are lies. There's nothing woman about a man and nothing man about a woman.
You can't bend the knee to them because they're bottomless voids. There's nothing that will ever satisfy them or fill them up. You have to stand up to them.
I will say that a man will sometimes want to live as a woman, or a woman wants to live as a man, because that is honest. That is honest. Okay. Let's see what it says. I'm one of those, I believe some very, very rarely, but some people are born sexually deviant. I believe that the vast majority of homosexuals, transvestites, pedophiles have learned that behavior. All right. Look, I'm not going to argue. I mean, obviously, this was an argument a long time.
Okay, hold up. You put some things in that category. Those things don't go together, you know.
Which all transvestites, pedophiles? Well, no. He's not saying they go together. He's just naming a bunch of groups. He did not.
I'm aware, but just so we're clear, there's no moral equivalency between homosexuality and pedophilia. None.
Yes. Okay. I think everybody is
none whatsoever.
Just because I think, yeah, I know I've got homosexuals in non-binary. I know I've got a lot of a very eclectic group in my chat. So I don't think anybody was thinking that. Let's see. You got to give people credit, though. People have kids to support and jobs to work. You can easily be fired for not affirming their existence or whatever they call it. That is true. That's actually I've run into that problem. I have actually lost a job because of my social media. And by that, I mean, I went out for an interview and they literally did a social media check and they didn't like what they saw. Okay. Pronoun is a noun that gets paid to be in a sentence. Demons refer to themselves as they, them, says Ash.
Angels too, to be fair. Yeah. Basically, anything that's not tied to a physical body can be whatever it wants, basically.
Let's see. Okay, here's Hollywood's latest attempt to rehab Miller in EW. We're all hoping that he gets better, said Flash director Andy Muschietti of Miller. He's taking steps to recover. He's dealing with mental health issues, but he's well. We talked to him not too long ago, and he's very committed to getting better.
I don't care.
And I have to say, during our shoot, during principal photography, his commitment to the role was something we've never seen, says producer Barbara Muschietti. And the discipline to work, the willingness, the physical, mental, and just wanting to go beyond the pale is just amazing. It's amazing. I got that from bench warmers, and I say it all the time. Amazing. And
okay, while we're off the Twiggy part of the conversation for a second, irrespective of all the moral depravity, all the amoral shit that Ezra Miller has gotten up to, he's not a good actor. Irrespective of all of the squiggy shit he's gotten up to, his Flash was basically a spastic, you know, Sheldon Cooper. I heard a lot of things like autistic Flash. I heard twink Flash. His version of Flash is not well liked regardless.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll tell you the part. Like, normally I watched it. I watched Justice League. I like Justice League. for the most part. I'm not bothered by Ezra Miller, but I gotta think it was a Josh, because I don't think it was in the Snyder cut where he goes around. It's a cave. It's a bat cave. Are you freaking 5?
Right.
Yeah.
That was the worst of it.
Well, and it's not even just his Flash role. He wasn't good as Credence in Fantastic Beasts either. He basically played that as an emo kid. To Ezra Miller, it seems like acting is play myself and add a bunch of extra quirks. And I'm not even going to get into what he did to the Trash Can Man in the 2020 version of The Stand, because that was just shameful.
Oh, that whole
Never
freaking
saw it.
Yeah, it's garbage. Don't just watch.
It's a really, really terrible adaptation.
The 90s one is so much better than the 2000s one.
I love
the 90s one wasn't even that good. It was just
the 90s one was awesome, you heretic.
MOON, that spells Nebraska.
All right,
not
on.
Compared to the book, is all I'm saying.
Let me move on here. And yet, in his statement released August, Miller granted himself the privilege of referring to himself in the singular. Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering a complex mental health issues and begun outgoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed. Why does anybody do the freaking noun pro Olympics thing? Let's see. Enolte isn't wrong when he calls Miller a credible accused child groomer and says that despite his record, the actor is being coddled, patronized, and rehabilitated. Sounds like a severe case of white privilege. But it's very easy to see why Warner Brothers is rehabilitating Miller. It comes down to one thing. Thank you. Greed. You're right. All this meant nothing because you told the truth at the bottom. Warner Brothers thinks it might have a hit here, and which means it doesn't matter how many 12-year-olds Miller allegedly groomed, how many he allegedly assaulted, or how many felonies he allegedly committed. Miller wisely did not attend CinemaCon, nor did his co-stars Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton, both returning to their respective Keir Clemens, blah, 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 blah. All righty. Once again, I'm going to go see the movie. If I tell you I'm not, I'm lying to you, and I've tried to make it a point never to lie to my audience, unless it's a joke or out of a mission because I might be talking about something personal and family. I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. But if I said I was not going to go see it, I'd be lying through my freaking teeth. I am jazzed for that movie. That being said, not a Miller fan. You brought up a lot of reasons, but just because he's not the greatest of actors. And frankly, he's a douche. And I think he should be in jail. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I'm going to pirate the movie like I pirate most movies. Mm-hmm. And that's probably going to be the end of it because
we here at I Love Comics, other than him, do not condone movie pirating. Thank you very much.
At least not publicly.
Or publicly. Yeah. So, hey, you know what you do in the privacy of your own home is your business. Yeah. I would never go to X Movies 8. I would never go to F Movies. I would never go to 1, 2, 3 movies. I would never go to any of their satellite sites just in case one gets shut down. I would never go to any of these, which actually sometimes have high definition versions of movies that are out in the theaters just to save 10, 15, 20 bucks. I would never freaking condone that.
Do you feel better now? Do you feel better now that you've done that bit?
I'm just saying exactly. I do not condone going to probably look, I get it. Some look sketchy, but things like F movies look clean. And I just make sure, especially if you have like ad blocker, I would assume that it would be easy to do. But no, I do not condone that at all. I wanted to say apologize. I haven't forgot. I'll be getting started ASAP. My life is. Well, dude, you got to take care of yourself, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping by and listening in. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I'm serious. You got to take care of yourself. I hope everything is good with you and your family, man. Let's see. I should state that although I don't support homosexuality, I don't think it should be criminalized. Adults can consent. Transing children, though, is child abuse, mutilation, and pedo should be shot. Spiffy Gonzalez says. Oh.
That's as close to fair enough as we're probably going to get.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, if somebody, it's against somebody's religion, it's against somebody's religion. You know, you can't force somebody to support. But I mean, look, and it's okay.
Yeah,
they might not support.
Here's not the time and place to go on the intricacies of moral philosophy and all that.
But it's also also look in Christianity. Jesus himself had said, "I hate the sin, love the sinner." You know, so even if you don't support homosexuality, doesn't mean that Dalton isn't awesome.
That being said, I am probably going to hell if the Christianity has any truth whatsoever, and I've made peace with that a long time ago.
Okay. So much for lying to a piece of it.
I have prayed for you more times than you'll ever know, Dalton, and I will not stop.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Nope.
Okay. Hello to Tevia. How are you doing?
So what's going on?
No, nothing. We're actually done with the first article. I honestly, that was my big push. That was what I had to talk about there. I think it's more of a greed thing. It's not a racial thing between Ezra Miller and Jonathan Majors. And also, if this happened before, if the accusations happened before Ant-Man, Marvel would be doing the same thing. DC's got to cover their ass to get more butts in the seats to make this movie worth it. So
they need Flashpoint to act as the in-universe mulligan button is all, basically. Well, it's not even necessarily about Flashpoint itself. It's about, we need this to make it look like we're not completely caving on everything we've done so far.
Yeah. All right.
Flashpoint has to come at time to reboot.
I wanted
the fast storyline that got trended because the said,
dude, when you talk fast, I literally cannot understand a word you say.
Yeah. Basically, Flashpoint was not designed to be a reboot. Flashpoint, they would have designed that story would be a flash storyline. But then the years at the time, we're in the present. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do a reboot and start New 52. And a disaster, which we all know.
Okay, yeah, but the movies aren't going to start New 52. Let me move on. Let me move on here. Oh, do I even have it up? Oh no. Okay, I got mad. The bird was twittering and twiddling a lot. So anyway, let me pull something up here. Ever since I got asked to do this video as Comic Tom 101. Comic Tom, yeah, that's the one. I became kind of fascinated by this, by the whole thing. All these people coming up, telling you what's the best, what's the worst. This book is going to be worth $1 gajillion by the end of tomorrow. At noon, you know, so forth. There's a whole freaking YouTube industry out there. There's one guy that I thought of stealing his jam because he's like, okay, this is what they're saying to buy. Let me tell you what not to buy, you know, because all these videos are telling you to buy these same, sometimes the same books. Sometimes it's like, like nobody's on the same page. I noticed there's this one though, that I've watched for a while. I used to do video on it, kind of making fun of it, but I haven't in a while. It's called CBSI, and it's something where dude, honestly, okay, this is their top 10. And these are the honorable mentions: Tim Drake, Robin 7, Serge Acuna 125, Megan Fitzmartin's writer, artist is Ricardo Lopez. Apparently a book sold for 200 to 250. This book has now become a ghost. Whoever's bought these up are not getting rid of them at the moment. And then the other is an Earthman on Venus, because one sold for $5,000. All right, but why does it make it a top 10? Because it is a sale. It is a sale, of course, but why is it a top 10 book? But at least one of those is a golden age, hard to find kind of book. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you scroll up, and then it's, of course, we already talked about this dumbass Humberto Ramos variant, and this one should always. Oh, I'm sorry. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 8, La Mole foil variant of 1 in 1,000. Almost every one of these reprints is a waste of paper and time. This one looks good. That background pops. No, it's a reprint. It's a fucking reprint.
That's bullshit.
But okay, let me point something out. Let me point something else out to you. Number 8 is She-Hulk. Number 12, the Ji-Hung Lee 100 1 in 100 variant. Now number 7 is the Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, the beginning number 2, 1 in 10 variant. Number 6, by the way, if you hear me talking, you know, because I've got a point to make here. Number 6, Star Wars: The High Republic, Virgin variant. Number 8, Hui Din, Space variant. Number 4, Batman Incorporated, John Tim's variant. Number 3, Stephanie Hahn's variant. Number 2, Jody Hauser variant. And Grindhouse Drive-In Bleed Out number 5. Does it seem to anybody else but me that the reasons why these books are in the top 10 is because a comic shop or two that might contribute to this freaking top 10 list has a whole bunch of them?
Well, there's that, and then there's also the fact of we never really did address the specter of variant covers, did we? Like, they almost killed the industry back in the 90s, and yet we still do the freaking variant thing. I hate variant covers so much. The best cover for the book should be the one on the freaking book.
Well, even with Comic Tom, he's like, oh, I want to tell you, this week they have a sale, and this book was selling at $4,000 last week, but this week it bumps up to $4,500. Ooh. Wait, I can go to eBay and I can show you 10 other books that had just the same freaking climb. How are you telling us that you've got this book in stock and are now either going to auction it or you're going to sell it? The way that they tell these books is so arbitrary, and I swear to gosh, so many of them have different versions of telling it. I don't trust it. If they're going off the eBays, if they're going off and oh, God bless you, I've said it a gajillion times. If you are still going, oh, they're going to be in a movie. Okay. You know what's enjoying a bump because the James Gunn announced it's going to be in a movie?
Creature Command.
I'll trust you, man.
Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, that too, yeah.
Swamp Thing is.
Well, I mean, Swamp Thing deserves it though, so fine.
Let me finish. Swamp Thing got a bump because finally it's going to be in a movie. Bullshit. It's
been in a movie
third freaking superhero, third DC hero to get a movie. Batman 66. Well, if you want to count Superman, then Batman, then Superman again, then freaking Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's been in movies for ever. So
good movies, but that's neither nor there.
Hey, you okay? Swamp Thing was awesomely bad. Return of Swamp Thing was just bad, but
at least you admit it's bad.
For a little while, a couple of years ago, the X-Men had a huge jump. And let me tell you something. In my opinion, with some books, they had an appropriate jump. Like, okay, yes, X-Men should be worth that much. But the reason why they had a bump is because it was heard that the X-Men will be coming to the MCU. When I heard, they're going to be in the movies. They were freaking in the movies for the last 20 years, not the MCU. I think people are dumbass. If that's your train of thought, if that's your connection, you're a moron. Just put your money away. Your money is now a gun and it's pointed to your head. Put it the away.
Mm-hmm.
All righty.
But he made a good video about this. How do Resident Evil get that way? I know Resident Evil, I love the game, but I never knew the Infinite Darkness comics.
When you talk fast,
but he made an good me. Why can you love an honorable mention? The main thing is horrible. It's a bad book. How the hell did that get honorable mention?
Couldn't tell you.
Slow down and enunciate. We can't
understand you.
Why did the Tinder Robin make a bit more on Trainwreck get a honorable mention? That makes no sense to me. whatsoever.
because it's a variant. I'm telling you, the
Even on the
CBSIs. If you tell me that a key book, like an actual key book, is in the top 10, I'll believe you.
Yeah.
But if you tell me the entire top 10 is nothing but variants, I'm gonna look at you and go, yeah, you're pulling something here.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that the hot 10 books are these variants when there's only 15 of them? You're not. How about maybe a regular first? And if you're doing the top 10 books that are only new books, I'll guarantee you that the hottest books aren't the variant covers. They're the ones that everybody could get their hands on that are selling thousands of copies. All right. Let me see what we got here. Twiddles is giving his opinion. Quit interrupting. Y'all rude. Speak Twiddles. Yep, thank you very much for understanding the bird here. I started talking with my hands and he's falling asleep on my wrist here. So, yeah, see, he's
bird brain.
Yeah, he's sitting. Whenever he sits all the way down like that, he's getting comfortable. So I'm going to try not to move this side of my body for a little bit.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's see. It's okay. Twiddles, I hear you. Says Colonel. Experience in collecting coins is guided by back issue choices, says Davis Sonowitz. Look, obviously you have the obvious keys and such. I was watching one guy talk about how was it Batman Adventures number 12 isn't worth buying? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, it's the first
quality of the story much.
The first appearance of Harley Quinn is going to be a blue chip. It might not always be worth $1,000 but it's. I don't think there's ever a bad time.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever gonna put the Harley genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
Granted, I hope that we get better versions of her, and it seems like Lady Gaga might be a better version of her than the cocaine addicted cheerleader that is Margot Robbie. But never mind.
Now, see, I would believe that if they said, look, because of the what's her name again, Lady Gaga, because she came out. Now there's a bump on Harley Quinn. Okay, I'll buy that. But an entire top 10 list of nothing but variants.
I once again, I just want to go on the record and say I just hate variants in general. If there's this quality gradation of covers, that means that the mainstream cover is like the second or third choice of cover. In my opinion, times were better when the best cover for the book made it onto the frickin' book.
Yeah. All right.
Rather than saving the best cover for the book for the most expensive version of the book or something.
I got to tell you something. When we were first talking about this kind of stuff with the covers and all, I was very much into the painted covers. Some of them are beautiful, the cover Bs, but I've got to say I've kind of been switching over. I do dig on the trade dresses, like yeah, give me the trade dress now. I appreciate it, but I still got to say I'll point to older books where what's on the cover is in the book. Excuse me, a hell of a lot more than I will the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
And that right, Quiz? Yeah, he's falling asleep.
Yeah, you remember I put in a comment, bank Gwenpool, the kid from Good Devil, she's asexual now. I'm not kidding. I just looked it up on CBR. What
is a UWU girl, Spiffy? He's saying that I just don't like how Harley became a UWU girl. She used to be emotionally manipulated girl with a sad story. Now it's just, hey, look at me, I'm crazy.
I don't know that abbreviation off the top of my head.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to enlighten me. I don't know that one.
No,
I was on fire tonight, man. Sorry.
I watched the Renfield movie last night, and it's all about getting out of a toxic relationship.
Oh yeah, the Draco movie, but Nicolas Cage.
Okay. Yep. And I think that Harley Quinn could have been a great character for that story. I mean, she is locked in. She is an abused woman who sticks with the abuser, which we find out and we know happens way too freaking often. and way too awesomely, I was about to say. And she could have been a voice for those people. She could have been an example at some point, but they never went full on. They were always afraid to go full on to tell that story. And by the time they got around to it, it was more like, haha, woman power. It wasn't done emotionally. It was done. It seemed really flippant. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's what I have.
I always like when Joker and Harley are kind of like the evil version of Gomez and Morticia. I don't like I know obviously she got tricked into being Harley Quinn rather than Harley Quinzel, and that's warped and all. But they're two broken people who are broken in similar ways. They kind of belong together, and I don't see any reason why you couldn't have a evil love, to quote a Phineas and Ferb song.
You know, the way they could do it, instead of making girl power Harley Quinn, have her smack the Joker a couple of times.
Yeah. But
if it was mutual.
In 2 seconds, but you never gave a damn about her.
No, because you would write it. The whole thing is that the Joker really loves her. Now, we already know. No, hold on. I swear to gosh, my mouth is moving. The voice is coming out. The thing is with Batman, we already know that the Joker has this thing. He loves it. It's already been written many times that he actually loves.
His true love is Batman. Yeah.
Not necessarily, and not in a sexual way. Those dumbasses try to write it. It's just that he sees them as the yin to his yang.
It's a romance, basically.
So you know that he's okay with that kind of relationship. So you have Harley, who it is a sexual relationship. It is a romantic relationship. So if she gets violent back to him, he's not necessarily going to kill her. He's going to kill the guy in the corner. Yeah, and that would even be. Say again.
I said the only problem with that is psychopaths don't truly love. They love themselves. They don't truly love, and if she struck him, even if it was aggressive or passive aggressive, he would start working out how he was going to get her good.
Well, but the thing is, they've done studies on this as well, and it's weird, but because they both understand love in the same way, quote unquote, sociopaths can only ever find fulfillment with other sociopaths. So that actually does work for them to, again, basically be the evil version of Gomez and Morticia Adams.
But it is fiction, so yeah, I mean, you could
I don't see them as a love couple at all. They hate each other. They would kill each other in 2 seconds. But
but we're talking about back when they were interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when they were in character and they didn't become literally just gangster, just whatever the writers needed them to be at any given moment.
I would say now, Ash is saying Joker doesn't love, and I don't think he's wrong, but I would say that he would, but in his own way. Like
he doesn't love in the way sane people love, but he's not sane.
We would not see love how he treats people he cares about.
Again, it's a little bit like Gomez and Morticia. If either of them were in a relationship with anyone else, it would be abusive as hell, because they don't express love in the way most people express love. They express love by, masochism and torture and denial and so on. But when they're together, it actually becomes a really sweet, wholesome relationship, because they're broken in the right way, in such a way as they fit together like puzzle pieces. Joker and Harley could be the same thing.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's see. We've got UWU as an emoticon depicting a cute face. Thank you, One Slick. It is used to express various warm, happy, or affectionate, feelings. Closely related emoticon is OWO, which can more specifically show surprise and excitement. There you go. I'm too old for the emoticon thing. What about Cesar Romero Joker? Yeah, well, he's the Silver Age Joker. Go on ahead.
Sorry, but Harley Quinn didn't exist in the 60s. And frankly, I don't see him let go into Harley Quinn. I don't know.
Well, he definitely surrounded himself with hot teenagers, though.
That is true, yeah.
It depends if Joker is one or the other. There is a difference between psycho and socio, Dalton. One is genetic and one is nurture.
This is also true, but I'm going to assume socio because that's the one that's nurture based, and we all know about the one bad day standard. Regardless of which one bad day backstory you go with, it's pretty much universally accepted at this point that every version of the Joker had that one breaking point day.
Okay, let's see. Spiffy said, I don't think Joker is sociopath. Sociopaths are instant and emotion-based. Joker will come up with a convoluted plan just for a laugh. He's more active in thought than just responsive to stimuli. And CHRONONAUGHT saying, now, if I was forced to do the Poison Ivy Harley, I would have Harley abuse Poison Ivy, continuing the cycle. That would be the, oh my gosh, that is such the way those two should be written. Poison Ivy would either kill her, poison her, get away, but yeah, Harley would have to continue. That's
wait. So you made that how I said, well, because one people could put that anger and rage to see the two-part character.
It's much the same, Tevia, like an abusive kid, an abused child might grow up to abuse his children. My dad came home from Vietnam with all sorts of anger issues. So he tossed us around. He smacked us around a few times. He got himself help. And I got to say, I didn't help at all. Tell you the truth, I had a mouth on me from the very beginning. Not saying
so it's not a recent development then.
Not right. Not saying that I was at fault, and he would actually argue me saying, I'm just saying if you are around somebody with anger issues, it's best not to hit the bear. Anyway, my dad was great though. I am not one of those people. Oh, my childhood so bad. No, I had a great childhood. We went
people
fishing,
aren't perfect, and everyone fucks up everyone else at some point. That's just how the world works.
We had a great time. That being said, my dad had serious anger issues. My brother got the brunt of it. He was older. One of the scariest days of my life was when my dad got mad at my younger brother, and I said, Dad, you're wrong. And I stood up for him and I said, you're kind of full of it here. And he came rushing down the hallway at me. And I thought,
oh shit.
Well, here we go. And the thing is at that point I said, because normally I would be like, I was about 17 at the time. And instead of cowering, instead of, trying to get away, I just stood. And I got to tell you something. I was waiting, and it was one of the scariest freaking things. But
it was like, I guess today is the day my ticket gets punched.
But the thing is my dad actually saw it. My dad, and and from that moment on, I never saw him get mad like that again. He never lost his temper, at least in the ways I saw. He had gone and he'd seen. He got himself some help and everything, and even by the time I stood up to him like that, it was far, far removed from what me and my older brother experienced. But anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent there.
I just got one personal.
But the thing is what I was going to say was my dad passed that on to me. So I'm with Gail. In the beginning years, I used to have a fucking temper on me. And you guys can see it. You have seen it a little bit when the blood's not right and I'm starting and it seems like I go from 0 to 60.
When that's hangry teen.
Yeah, the hangry teen. Yeah. And I actually told my daughters this. I said, look, I know how I grew up. I know what happens. If I seem to be angry for no reason, it's more than likely that my blood sugar is messed up.
Yep.
Tell me. Yep. Tell me that you think I'm being ridiculous, and we'll go get something to eat, and I'll call.
It's literally a Snickers commercial.
It really is. There's a truth to that. But I scared Gail one time. She made me mad, and I was punching the ceiling. I did put Ashley up against the wall once when she was f***ing around in the wrong way, and she wasn't. I overreacted, and she did something, and I. Just like that. And that was the point. Yeah. That was the very last time I lost my temper like that. Mm-hmm. That was the very last time because it was almost.
It bottomed out.
It was my daughter. I see the reflection, and in my daughter's eyes, I saw my dad, and looking at her, and it was like, oh god. And
you had your Scarlet Witch moment. Oddly enough,
that right there, it is absolutely a nurture thing. So I think that whole story, what he brought up, where Harley Quinn now abuses Poison Ivy, that should be done. What they're doing now, now that you mentioned it to me, that is what they're doing now is so fucking horrible on another level. I didn't like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn together before, but now it seems like a waste of a story. It's kind of like aging John Kent up.
I always made a deal. This is a bad idea. Ugh.
That's his ultimate triggery. You've got to know that by now.
I know, right? We got the loss. Now, we got the loss. If they wanted to tell the story, they told it wrong. We got the loss of a kid coming of age. He's Superman's son, and he's got to tell the world he's freaking gay. Or at least, well, he doesn't really have to tell the world. But you get what I'm saying. His best friend is a freaking Muslim. And you think Christians are not nice towards gay people. Now he's
throw it off the bridge.
His assassin trained best friend, you know, and I think they went way wrong by having Damian go, oh no, it's okay. No, you missed out on the fucking story.
Yeah,
you missed out on the story by not having him have some sort of trepidation about the fact that his best friend is a great story to tell with Damian Wayne would have been a betrayal. John Kent betrayed him by being gay.
Or here's another story.
Now this is something, of course, that Damian has to work through, but it's still a better story. It would have been a better story than, oh yes, isn't everything lovely? How many times do these same people tell us about how hard it is to come out to your parents, come out to your friends, come out to this, and then they write in a freaking comic book all freaking rainbows and unicorns?
Well, because they're writing the world as they wish it were, basically, is what's going on there. But it's the same thing with the stupid activism plot line they have for him. I'm fine with John Kent being reckless. What I'm not fine with is it's never framed as reckless. It's never framed as he's abusing his powers. It's never framed as he's in the wrong and being an edgy little teenage brat. It's always, oh yes, John, you know how to be Superman better than anyone else does bullshit. And it's like, no, what they should have done is fine, write John Kent with the whole like Antifa sympathies bullshit. But then maybe he and his boyfriend that you spent so much time, you know,
they didn't spend any time. If you look at how much time they actually spent.
Right. Okay. But so much build up for maybe John Kent in his way of not being able to control his emotions and being willing to go to action at the first drop of a hat accidentally hurt someone that he cares about. Let's make it his boyfriend for the sake of the plot arc. And then he goes through a Zuko-style redemption arc where he learns, okay, no, my first reaction shouldn't be to rush to action and to jump behind any cause I can get my hands on. Maybe my dad and his non-interference in world government policy had a point, and I was being an edgy little teenage brat. That would be a good arc for him if you're playing that role.
Or here's my kind of idea. D.A. Johnny McEnroe and stop doing this whole teenage bullshit. The John Kent we have now is not John Kent. John I'm telling you, we're kicking ass in it. That is John. Or you're keep the imposter. Here's the bud. This is about Earth 3 from the crime syndicate world. This is Earth 3 John Kent. All John Kent is trapped somewhere out there alone, needs to be saved. That's my solution. I've been saying it for years. I know what that go. Even though I know they're going to do that. Be good. You need to do that. People to piss the get mad.
Thanks,
let's be honest, Heavy. They're never gonna.
Guys, you're talking over each other.
It was real quick. I'm not nearly as long-winded as you, buddy. Just let me get it in real fast. You just put this vision in my head of Jay Nakamura and John doing the "you're the one that I want" little wiggle thing down the guilty in degrees.
Let's see. Let me get
talking about Danny Zuko. Is that what you were saying earlier?
What now?
About when you were talking about like Jay and John Kent, he said the Zuko effect or the Zuko something. Zuko.
No, what I was saying was if you're gonna write John as this, Antifa sympathetic, rushes to action at the first drop of a hat character, have that actually be framed properly rather than lavishing him with, oh, you're the best Superman we ever had because you actually get involved in political issues. Have it be that Clark was right all along and that Superman shouldn't get involved in issues directly because it does result in authoritarian tendencies. And maybe John, in his anger, in his lack of self-control, could hurt someone that he cares about. Let's make it his boyfriend for the sake of the argument. And then he has to go through a Zuko-style redemption arc. Like, learn the lesson of, okay, I shouldn't get politically involved. Okay, my dad had a point for not, being non-interventionist. Okay, it's not right for me to use my power however I feel like it should be used at any given moment. That would be a good arc for him if you're playing that ball where it lies.
You're the one that I want after that. I'm sorry.
No.
I can't get it out of my head now.
What were you going to say, Tevye?
He admires William Amendment. Jay Nakamura, he's a traitor. How did Nakamura betray John and he a spy with Bennett? He's having Bennett's son, he betrays him, killed John, the imposter, and we didn't party in not the real John of Earth 3. The real John is out to someone who needs to be rescued from Earth things. Clark Kent, Damian Wayne, and Irene Jai, the two Flash kids, by the way. I go to the two Flash in the Flash issue of the meeting. Chef Kid, a great issue, by the way. Read that book, I recommend it. At the end. All four of them go to the motivate, save John from Ultraman, and you can kill Ultraman, or you get Ultraman, or you can get rid of him. John, go back to the planet, real John, and check the deposit ass. Jen Nakamura like, oh, you betray me? Fine. Then I'll betray you. And then Jen Nakamura open trump card. What's a trump card? It's playing Indiana is using him to take over the world by using the same the Bennett did, but then Bennett and killed Bennett, and he did Gamora. Checkmate, baby, and that means I win.
All righty.
Jordan, will you do it? No, they won't do it because they're a coward. They won't pull that trigger.
Well, we're never going to get any of the storylines we just outlined, Tevye, because they don't listen to us. They don't care about in-universe logic. They don't know enough about the characters or storytelling to write a compelling character like that. Yeah. And they can only write things from within their framework. And that's the problem because their framework is fucked to begin with.
Okay, and on that note, on that note, though, we're going to move on a little bit because I found something else I haven't read.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can move forward now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's okay with Tevye. We got it. Okay, we got permission from Tevye to move on here. All right. So next up, I found this. I thought it would be kind of fun because, it's the 10 biggest disasters of Marvel Comics, and I thought we could go through it and see if we agree, we disagree. But there we go. Marvel has been long lauded for a string of amazing successes. Yada yada, blah blah blah. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Number 10, the 90s collector bubble burst. Says the 90s for Marvel were an interesting time. The company had pulled ahead in sales in the 80s, mainly on the backs of the X-Men books, that's for sure, and was riding high in the saddle. Suddenly, speculators entered the market, buying new books as investments. Marvel played into this, flooding the markets with new books that were sold as collector's items. The problem was that investors wanted to return on their investment, and that wasn't happening. Overprinted comics that everyone had weren't selling on the aftermarket, and the speculators left. Marvel suffered greatly when the collector bubble burst.
Yep.
I wouldn't put this on Marvel.
That actually happened because...
but you can't put it on Marvel. I mean, granted, Marvel did.
Yeah, you're right, Marvel. DC did it well.
Okay, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know. I honestly did not expect it. I invited Dalton, I invited Jay, and then later, dude, you got to let you really interrupt everybody here, dude. I've mentioned it. I'll say, hey, Tevye, what do you think? But every freaking time. Mm-hmm. All right, so I was saying that I don't think it was. I don't think it's all on Marvel, but Marvel really did flood the market. They just kept putting they tried to get DC and Image off the shelves by putting out tons and tons of books.
The
All right,
speculator
number
boom,
9.
though, hurt everyone, basically, is the long and short of it.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yep. Number 9, Marvel's bankruptcy. It says it's hard to imagine today with Marvel's dominance of pop culture, but the company almost died in the 90s. Marvel was overprinting books left and right, and they kept doing it after the collector bubble burst. This destroyed the company's value, and it was forced to declare bankruptcy. The company still sold a lot of comics, but it wasn't making up for the shortfall. This was a scary time for fans and creators. No one knew what was going to happen with the company, whether it was going to get bought by someone else or had to sell off the characters to stay afloat, which they did. Eventually, the company sold the film rights to Spider-Man and the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. Yep, they did that. They made sure that they got some money off of movie rights, and they signed a deal with the devil with Universal Studios.
Shouldn't this one and the previous one be in the same node? Like, I feel like this is just a two-part number one. It's not. Yeah. They're not separate things.
Go on ahead, Tev.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Authenticator in this point. He's right, because both of these they ended having, but there's one that they ought to forget. They saw Dead with the Fox, and they also saw other characters the Fox as well, besides X-Men Beyond 4. Like Daredevil, Electra, they sold off, and I think they saw in the Captain America. I forget. I think
Hulk was no. They still had rights to Captain America. It was Hulk. The Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and Spider-Man that they sold.
And
when they sold those characters, they also sold all the side characters and so forth. So, let's go. Let's move on to number 8. Oh, You fell off my leg, dude. What's up? You okay? All right, number 8. Downplaying the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. After the success of the MCU, Marvel got cocky about the characters who starred in those films, pushing them to the moon. However, the X-Men and the FF weren't so lucky. Spider-Man was untouchable because of sales, and the X-Men were to an extent. When the A-list talent stopped going to X-Books, the X-Men were placed in their own corner of the Marvel Universe. The Fantastic Four had it worse. This team's latest book was canceled by Marvel, even though the sales were good enough to keep it going. Marvel pretended the FF and the X-Men status wasn't as big as it was because someone else owned the film rights. But everyone.
Well, I mean, what else were they supposed to do? Sorry.
Okay, dude, the movies are more of an advertisement for the comics than the comics are for the movies at this point. Even at the point they're talking about. That was a horrible decision. Left, right, upside down, twice on Tuesday. It was a bad decision. All right. Let me go on to number, what are we on? That would be number 7. But yeah, they really messed up on this one. And this actually, I think, hurt the X-Men in the end. 7. The Image founders' exodus. Marvel in the late 80s had nurtured an impressive roster of talent. When the 90s started, they were given the company million-selling issues. Names like Lee McFarlane and Liefeld moved comics, but they weren't making nearly as much money as they should. Led by Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Eric Larson, Walt Portacio, Mark Silvestri, and Jim Valentino, they all left Marvel to create Image. The Image 7 became industry titans, and their creation of Image Comics gave Marvel serious competition. In the early days of the comic book of the company, its books were sold like hotcakes. Marvel lost some of their biggest talents and spent years chasing Image, which was another factor. Actually, in orders, Image Comics outsold DC for a couple of months.
Yeah, didn't a bunch of people exodus from DC as well? I feel like this is stuff that happened to everyone in the speculator boom days.
It was bigger at Marvel.
Not as bad. Not as bad as Marvel. What were you saying, Jay?
Yeah, because I'm confused. I thought Image actually would found it away from DC Marvel because Image wanted to get more paid. What they did with Image, then Liefeld left the company because of creative issue between McFarlane.
It wasn't just the pay. It wasn't just the pay. It was also like Todd McFarlane wanted to be consulted on his run on Amazing Spider-Man about how to sell the book and so forth. And it was ridiculous. He got a big ego for a while. I know a lot of people. He's the nicest guy now, but back in the day, he had an ego on him. As a matter of fact, there was one point where he did an article, he did a review, or not a review, an interview, where he said if he had his way, people would sign on to Image exclusively. This is something that he was complaining about Marvel and DC wanting to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he had himself a little bit of an Image. Hey, MK, what's up? Did you hear Dylan said it should be illegal to get pronouns wrong? Oh, that guy's
That's funny.
Yeah, I heard that too, MK.
That's
all righty. Let me continue here. All righty. And let's see. Heroes Reborn. Yeah, dude. What the hell was that all about? Sometimes Marvel has poisoned their fans' favorite characters. A perfectly disastrous example of this was 1996's Heroes Reborn. For years, Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, and Fantastic Four were falling behind in sales, so the company threw money at Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld to take over. What followed became infamous. Lee's Iron Man and Fantastic Four were considered okay, but Liefeld's Avengers and Captain America has been roundly panned. In fact, Marvel ended up firing Liefeld after his first 6 issues. Marvel's longtime fans weren't happy with the whole situation. Once those 4 books were retooled under a new initiative and new creators, they became blockbusters again.
I mean, we all love Rob Liefeld, but he has to be in his own little corner of things. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and not to mention Heroes Reborn. Heroes Reborn was only made because Marvel was going under, because screw it, because X-Men and Spider-Man were doing well, even if Spider-Man was hanging at the Clone Saga BS story. And X-Men were doing well because of the 90s, because of the 90s anime show. So they put this on the corner and said, screw it, Onslaught, let's reboot everything and see what happens. However, then Heroes Reborn failure, we got the open universe, and we got MC2. So thanks, Heroes Reborn, for your failure. We got Spider-Go. So thanks to this, we got some good stuff out of Madness.
Okay.
I mean, we also got a Colossus that I can fantasize about in the Ultimates universe, so there's that too.
Yep, that's
And yes, that was entirely a joke, but
all right, number 5.
it's still cute.
Number 5 is Civil War 2. 2010, Marvel made some missteps, but few were as damaging to a single character as Civil War 2 by Brian Michael Bendis and artist Dave Marquez. The story was a cash-in event released around the same time as Captain America Civil War. Its plot was Minority Report with superheroes. Iron Man cautioned against using a precog to stop predicted crimes, but Captain Marvel was all for it. And they were going after one specific precog, like there isn't a gajillion around the Marvel Universe. Iron Man was the de facto hero and Captain Marvel became the villain. The problem with that was Captain Marvel's push to the A-list was only several years old, making her a villain in the major Marvel event so soon poisoned the well for Carol Danvers and led many fans to hate her. Dude, we hated her.
Oh, the well has been poisoned long since, dude.
It was a dumped at the very beginning. Civil War was a dumped at because this book was bad. But what the hell? Who wanted the sequel? Why do you want the sequel? And why have Captain Marvel become like crazy psycho? Like, Inhuman, Ulysses guy, because he tells the future. You have.
Well, also they never really addressed the. Sorry, they never really addressed the big problem with using precogs to predict crime, which is if it's in the future, that means it hasn't happened yet. So you could prevent the crime by convincing the person not to commit it, rather than jailing them for crimes they haven't committed yet, which was the whole point of Minority Report.
Yeah, which was Civil War to the failure. Or Civil War to
nope, Now, I'm sorry, but anybody else middle-aged like myself that can continue this with me? Nope. You're not going to tell me
are
the
we
New Universe was a big mistake.
What are we talking about? I'm lost.
New Universe. Marvel's experiments don't always succeed. Something that happened in the New Universe was flush with cash from the mass success of early 80s. Marvel editor-in-chief Jim Shooter decided to try to build a new universe, and it was built around entirely new heroes, and it was a bold move. However, that move didn't pay off in the long run. New Universe sales fizzled, and Shooter experienced the biggest failure of his tenure as EIC. Fortune sometimes favors the bold, but New Universe was a bit too much. These books were awesome. I'm sorry. Okay, most of these books were awesome. Cyforce was great. DP7 was great. Spitfire was okay. Starbrand was great. Night Mask was great. Justice was great for a while and then became okay. Merc was good. And by God, we got a book called Kickers Incorporated, where a bandana wearing football player was a superhero.
Ash, I'm hoping you're being sarcastic because text isn't good for...
says, nope. This is freaking awesome. Not only does New Universe not belong on this list, but this should be way. Even if you're on the list, it should be like number 10. This is awesomeness. New Universe is freaking awesome.
But anyway, Ash, I'm assuming you're being sarcastic because sarcasm can't be portrayed in text very well. I'm hoping you're being sarcastic.
But all right. The only thing that survived you is Starbrand. He don't care that main that didn't make any.
Okay, so also thank you very much to Rhaegar for these $2 super chats. Certainly appreciate it. I'm going to move forward here. Obviously, this was a mistake. This was a big mistake in a Marvel mistake universe. Age of X-Men. Oh my gosh, that sucked.
I hate Age of X-Men. That did suck.
So, okay, so it goes on to say Marvel liked to pretend that they were pushing X-Men in the late 2010s, but they were mostly doing bare minimum. A perfect example of this was 2018's Uncanny X-Men relaunch, kicking off the forgettable 10-part weekly story. This run led to the major disaster that was the Age of X-Men, basically a new version of the classic Age of Apocalypse. It was a failure right out the gate. Age of X-Men was a placeholder event that held everyone over as writer Jonathan Hickman crafted a new stable of X-Men writers. The pre-Krakoa era X-Men books were varying degrees of disliked, but Age of X-Men was especially hated. It was suck.
It was horrible. It was bad.
Did you guys read it at all?
I read it. No. I read tell me what the hell is this shit? Why is not going like a hippie? Why is Magneto like an old man? What's happening? Also, who this X-Men?
I'll be right back, guys.
All righty.
It made no sense. The way it ended, I don't know what happened to the ending.
Okay, hey,
X-Men? Can you explain it?
No, I can't. I didn't finish. I only read a few issues and I bowed out. It was bad. Okay, number 2. One More Day. Okay, so Marvel events have changed characters for the worse, something that nearly everyone agrees about. One More Day by writers J. Michael Straczynski and Joe Quesada and artist Quesada. This infamous story had Peter and MJ sacrifice their marriage to Mephisto in order to save Aunt May's life. It's roundly considered the worst Spider-Man story ever. No, I never heard that.
Really?
One More Day started an unending war between fans and Marvel. The Amazing Spider-Man sells very well, but there's a vocal group of fans who hate it, seemingly only buying it to complain about it. Spider-Man is, stop buying it. That's the time to sail the high seas.
Let the book die. It's time to let the book die and let dying.
It's not, dude. Are you seriously considering Spider-Man from Marvel Comics is going to get canceled?
No, it's not.
Then why are you saying let it die? Why are you saying that?
I'm saying that because if they won't change their ways, maybe it's on the portal plug. I hate saying that.
Okay, so as a company, you think Marvel will ever pull the plug on Spider-Man?
No, they won't do that. But they're like dying to hell one more day, keep going forward, even when they hold a story.
That being said, they might change the way it's written or retcon it, which is the next best thing.
Okay, so Spider-Man has become extremely controversial, and Marvel's insistence on ignoring this controversial event has caused a lot of trouble. Thank you.
Yep.
It's easier to take me serious with a bird on my head. And Ahsoka is saying she already gave up on Spider-Man. I never heard anything more than the High X-Men era. Absolutely vile High X-Men. High X-Men. I don't know which version.
X-Men?
Oh, the Hickman version. Okay.
Oh, Hickman.
Hickman. Okay, I get it now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I said before, I'm horrible at abbreviations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, One More Day is a terrible Doctor Strange story as well, because he should have bitch slapped Mephisto before he even had the opportunity to make the deal, but he was written out of character too. So there's that.
I agree. Doctor Strange would have helped Peter Parker immediately. And
so Ahsoka is saying Hell, people at Marvel have stated, the writers and them have stated, someone at the top doesn't want Mary Jane and Peter together. Thank you for the all caps. I hope I read the message right. But yeah, I have heard that someone at the top just doesn't. They don't want a married Peter Parker because they can't seem to find stories. I'll give you a hint on where to find good stories for a married Peter Parker. Go to DC and look at Superman and Lois.
Yep. Or
yeah, they want Spidey to be perpetually young, and it's complete bullshit.
All righty. And the number one biggest disaster, I think that I just kind of peeked at the biggest disaster, and I think One More Day is bigger. The Inhumans push. Marvel's Inhumans have impressive lore, but they've never been popular. Marvel pushed them in 2013, going slowly but surely. However, things didn't excel like Marvel wanted. So they went drastic in 2015, dropping multiple Inhumans titles. Marvel revealed a huge new angle. The released Terrigen Mists were harmful to mutants. Pitting a property that had never been more than C-listers against the X-Men, an A-list team, if there ever was one, was a disaster. The Inhumans died on the vine, and their failure prompted Marvel to put them on the sidelines. Pushing characters into the spotlight sometimes brings success, but having the Inhumans clash with characters everyone loved far more was a fatal mistake. Inhumans versus X-Men.
They actually are claiming that pushing the Inhumans to be slightly more popular is more of a failure than One More Day.
One More Day. Yeah, they're wrong.
Bullshit.
Screwing up the Inhumans is not a bigger mistake than screwing up Spider-Man.
And I wouldn't even call it a screw up. The only thing they were guilty of is putting their thumb on the scale a little bit too much to try and replace the mutants with the Inhumans ahead of the Inhumans movie, which makes business sense if nothing else. Well, whereas Spider-Man One More Day makes no sense on any level.
Also,
X-Men has been a bust for 5 years. Says I hate the Hickman run. The whole Krakoa thing sucked. Let's see. We got hello to all on the panel, even that Jay Lucien guy, says Eric. Let's see. Rhaegar saying, hi, Ahsoka Gaming. How are you? Let's see. Yeah, this is just disaster, but not the top. It makes more business sense for the movies. Unmarried hetero can imagine good stories involving married people. It is weird that they do fight the fans over this. I'll tell you one thing about the Inhumans and the X-Men thing. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest mistakes they made was separating, and I'm pretty sure it's because she's her own voice, not the voice of the king. But they separated Medusa and Black Bolt, one of the greatest relationships of Marvel Comics, and they separated them.
Yep.
It was the worst mistake, and it pulled the heart right out of the Inhumans.
Yep.
TV show did the same thing, by the way. They and that was a big problem too. They separated Medusa and Black Bolt.
And not to mention shaved Medusa's head bald for whatever.
Yeah, that was horrible too.
But in any case, I'm amazed that on a list of Marvel's top 10 worst blunders, nobody mentioned Marvel. I thought for sure that the only thing worse than One More Day, quality-wise, could be Marvel, but they didn't even mention Marvel.
Yeah, I think it's because it has no social impact. Go on ahead, Tev.
Yeah, but speaking of that list, another thing that I mentioned was the destruction of the Ultimate Universe. That thing should be on this list because that thing was a juggernaut that got destroyed thanks to Jeff Loeb Ultimatum, which killed the universe.
Yeah, but the Ultimate Universe got destroyed long before Secret Wars or whatever it was that actually destroyed it.
No. I said Ultimatum. That's why I got Jeff Loeb Ultimatum.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part.
You're better, Ash.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Ash. Take care, man.
Because that killed that universe, and that went under up under Marvel. One More Day, Ultimatum, and Marvel are three of the worst things that Marvel did. The Inhuman stuff was bad, yes, but that thing was that good mandate by Ike Perlmutter. They had him on.
Spider-Man is a coma in the hospital Spider-Man was put in a coma in the hospital by Marvel, says Unday Quinn. Ahsoka is saying, but what I think is worse is that Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown being separated and the writers never giving an in-universe reason. And the only reason was because they wanted to make Tim gay.
Not bisexual, mind you, which would have made some sense at least, but gay.
Well, they say bisexual, but they mean gay.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit
Because
a lazy way out.
Tim will never be with Stephanie ever again. And
It's not fair.
I got to tell you something. If I had the chance to, if I wrote, I haven't done an if I wrote in a long time. If I wrote Tim Drake, I would make the boy that he's with the one that no, actually, I would have to have an outside force. I would go back. I would read the run, and I would find out if they had a common enemy, or if it was discovered that they had a common enemy that I could give mental powers to, because.
So you want it to be a Jean Grey conversion therapy style thing?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Tim Drake's now boyfriend wanted to bang Tim's mom. Like, he was hypersexual about that. Every time he comes in, it was all about Tim, your mom's hot, your mom's hot, your mom's hot, your mom's hot, you know. So he was flaming heterosexual before they made him gay. So I would like a story that reveals that they are not, yet they were made that way by somebody who is playing a prank, somebody who is putting them under their control. And then I think, but the real story would be, how do they handle the fact that they are heterosexual and they have done gay stuff?
And also developed feelings for each other.
Well, maybe they don't want to be around each other at all because it's too embarrassing.
Yeah,
I mean, for all of the bullshit, as I said, unicorns and freaking rainbows that Twitter likes to blow up everybody's ass. The truth is that would be horrific.
Yep, it would.
That would be horrific to have that forced upon you.
It would be.
Imagine losing control of yourself to the point where you are doing things that you would never do.
Yeah, they did this storyline really well. They did this storyline really well in book 11 of Dresden Files, with the relationship between Harry Dresden and Anastasia Lucio, who got put in a younger body because of body switching necromancers. And so somebody was able to get inside her head and mess with her new body so that she fell for Harry, even though she wasn't inclined to fall for him before.
Look, I have no problem with you being gay. I don't care. God bless you. I hope you find love, the whole 9 yards. But I would definitely be 100% traumatized if I was forced into that situation. Yeah,
conversion therapy is wrong in either direction. Because that's the long and short of it.
And the truth of the matter is, I don't find it. I find it gross. Two men together, that whole idea, that's gross to me. I don't know if you have the same feeling towards heterosexual, but
because I'm bisexual, so I do have some like for women. It makes it a lot easier if I just say I'm gay, because when I say I'm bisexual, everyone jumps to, oh, well, then you don't know which one you are, so obviously you should just prefer women more because reasons, and that's just such bullshit that I just go, no, I prefer men more anyway, so it's easier just to say gay as a shorthand.
But the thing is, let me before my channel gets flagged and I get booted off YouTube. It seems like the idea for me is gross. You know, I won't watch gay porn. I don't think it's attractive. You know, there's nothing for it to me. And yes, it just and the other direction is when I think about, oh no, I could never do that. I don't. If I was a professional actor, I could never do Brokeback Mountain. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there you go. Let's see how long I'm still on the air for saying that.
Allow me to use my gay card as a shield for you for a second, because I
got my stereo back for just a second. Go on ahead. Give me the gay card.
My long and short of it is, conversion therapy is wrong in either direction because it changes someone's fundamental nature, and that's not okay.
Well, you can't force people into stuff like that. I mean, that has to be if the person wants to seek that stuff out, that's their business. If they don't, that's also their business.
And that would be my Tim Drake story.
Yeah, and if I can add to this as well, I would also do the same thing to John, which, again, I know it's in the John two different altogether, but this idea I think could work for John to do as well. Because if you think about Jake Nakamura, have him do his last name to John. He manipulated John and mind control him. When he put pin cut tonight. The pin cut tonight does the exact same thing. We do that same idea, but with Jake Nakamura be the one manipulated John. It can work. But you take the Sunday stuff, but do it to John where it can work.
See, I don't think that's necessary with John, and I don't think you'd get away with it with John because John was a child before, so we don't know what his sexuality was.
Yeah, we had
prior
never been told. Does he like girls? No. Does he like boys? We were never told that.
We were told he liked girls. He
dated Saturn girl. Bendis had him dating Saturn girl.
Okay. Not forced. But Bendis forced that relationship.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that. Yeah, but that's
well. If I acknowledge Bendis's run on Legion of Superheroes, that may make a difference. But I don't.
Can we just not acknowledge Bendis ever? Can we make an entire moratorium on Bendis?
Right now, you three are all talking at the same time. We won't now acknowledge Bendis. I heard that from Dalton. What were you saying, Jay?
I said I would prefer that very much, never to talk about him. Yeah.
Let's see, Ahsoka saying, but what I think is worse from Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown being separated and the writers never given an. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Let's see. Spiffy is saying he's bisexual who only likes guys and will never sleep with a girl and who finds the idea of being so repulsive. Undead Quinn is saying they forgot the Inhumans existed. And then Undead Quinn, or let's see, Ethereal saying we all want to forget the Inhuman show existed.
Yeah.
The book.
The only thing good with that was it resulted in Anson Mount coming into Multiverse of Madness for 5 minutes, and that was okay.
Rhaegar is disagreeing, saying the Inhumans was the best show ever. And
you're wrong.
Yep. I'm a lesbian in a man's body, says Rhaegar. I agree. Not only do I truly love women, but I've always enjoyed girl bikes over boy bikes. I never actually understood why the one with the balls gets the one with the bar.
Right. Yeah.
Never made sense.
That should be switched. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, I can tell you why. Because the girls don't have a bar. That way they could step into the pedals rather than lifting their legs up, showing the world everything they need to see. And
this is the strangest conversation I think we've ever had.
When you got to remember when the bicycle was created, there was a lot more modest time than now.
And girls weren't wearing pants back then. So,
but what I don't understand is why have the bar at all then? But they wanted to market it. Oh, now we have girls' bikes. Now we have guys' bikes. Guys have the bar. Girls don't. I don't want the bar. I don't want the freaking bar.
I mean, it's the same vehicle. It's the exact same thing. So I don't get the difference. It might be confusing for me.
Right.
Right.
Like history with I Love Comics.
Hey, I know a lot of useless information, dude.
I wouldn't call that useless. I would not qualify that as useless.
You realize now you've stuck bicycle built for 2 in my head for the next 3 days.
Well, I'm glad I could do that for you. This is insightful. I never knew that about bikes. Well, you're welcome. I do. Okay, so I used to read up on stuff like that. And by the way, there's this book series that is freaking awesome and filled with stupid facts like that. It's called The Bathroom Reader. They're books like this big, and they're filled with like little tidbits that you can get. I'm sorry, but if you're not reading something on the toilet, it's wasted time. That's all.
Random facts are amazing. Random facts are amazing.
It's just weird shit like that. So there you go. That being said, hey Jay, what's up? I knew a girl who wanted a vibrating seat LMAO. At first I didn't know why, but then realized, oh, okay. Yeah, that's why you mostly see girls on those little horses outside the grocery stores.
Yeah.
This continues to be the strangest tangent we've ever done in like 7 years.
This is the way it goes. Sometimes we start off with good topics and we end up talking about who gets the bar on a bike.
Yeah. Indeed.
I read up. There was a whole like I'm telling you, those bathroom readers were just a lot of fun, and they would have all shit. Okay, another one I learned, the whole 9 yards. Well, that doesn't make sense. It should be 10 yards because that's the first down, right? The whole 9 yards is because in World War I, the airplanes. Of course, you had the gunner, and you would have somebody to help the gunner. They would feed bands of ammunition, or maybe the gunner did himself. They would feed a belt of ammunition into the gun as he's firing. And when they would get back onto the ground, they would always be asked, because they have to inventory. Well, how many bullets did you fire? Well, 10, 15, 20. But the thing was, one of those belts of bullets was 9 yards long. So if they were empty, they would say, I fired the whole 9 yards. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know 2 useless facts.
I actually always wondered about that. Cool.
Speaking of articles, I did find something about DC biggest disasters, and it does connect to the Mall disaster as well.
I will do that on another one. We're an hour and a half in. I was about to shut us down there. I'm losing viewers because I'm giving stupid trivia facts. All right, gang. But tomorrow night we have an auction. I showed off some of the books. Some of the books aren't going to be there. Did you guys watch my unboxing, the one I said I'm going to lose money on?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Just thanks, okay? You know, just shoot me straight in the heart, dude. Come on, guys.
I don't watch the auction, so it's kind of pointless for me to watch the unboxing video.
Okay, so I always buy. I'm not going to do the whole unboxing, but I always buy these lots. They'll say mystery box, silver and bronze age, yada yada, that kind of stuff. And for the most part, it's been pretty good. Occasionally, I'll get a book. Sorry, Jay, about those DC Presents. Was it you or Eric and Boyd?
I'm the one collecting the DC Comics Presents, yeah.
Okay, and did you got a couple of them that I was in a rush and I just put them out before I looked?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Really sorry about that.
Well, they had the full stories were there. They just cut out the advertisements on a couple of pages.
Yeah, that's actually, I got a few of those. But these, I've got all these coverless books in this box. And okay, so some of them are like, I do have Avengers number 42 and all that kind of stuff. But the worst part of it was, let me see if I can't find the worst of them. Yep. The worst of them was it looked like they were chewed on by rats in some cases.
Probably were.
This is, or it was big cover tears. Like here's the first appearance of Captain Universe with a big old cover tear, and it broke my heart. Here's an X Factor that's supposed to have a hologram, and the hologram don't even work.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's
no hologram.
No hologram whatsoever. One of the greatest Sergeant Rock covers of all time.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
This is I love this, but up at the top there, it's got a little.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's not much of a ding, to be fair. It's
not too bad.
presentable.
I'm trying to. Last night it seemed like every other freaking book was chewed, but I can't find an actual chewed on book here. It seems. Oh.
And yes, before someone makes the joke, welcome to the 20-minute goodbye.
Yeah. But yeah,
I set up in an attic for.
I'm going to have a 25 and 50 cent sale, probably next Thursday. I'm thinking next Thursday, but yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, cool. Where's your superheroes?
It's a Silver Age too.
Yeah, it's Silver and Superboy.
Look at that.
In the story.
It's horrible. Now, something like this, I actually looked. Things like that chew doesn't really affect the story too much. There are some that don't, and there are some that do. Like I said, I'm going to have a 25 and 50 cent book. Like none of these books are going to be over 50 cents.
Yeah.
Speaking of Legion, have you guys been watching the new show? I've only seen clips of it, the one with Supergirl, but
there's a Supergirl and Legion show.
There's a movie that came out.
What channel?
The movie.
I don't know. Like I say, all I've seen is clips of it. Is it a movie rather than a show?
I've seen
an animated movie.
Dude, I reviewed the movie on our channel.
Yeah, it's the anime movie that came out this year. With Supergirl, she's the main character.
I reviewed the film on our channel, dude, on our movie channel, and I'm about to finish Justice League and Ruby. So
I saw that movie
for that too. All right,
I'll be on my channel. Well.
anyway, guys, once again, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, please show up for the auction. Got some really cool stuff. Plus, I'm going to go to the warehouse sale and hopefully get more silver and damn near golden age comics for tomorrow, as well as some trades to sell and all sorts of stuff. So probably tomorrow around 2:30, 3 o'clock, I will have a unboxing for all the stuff I got at the warehouse sale. So join me for that as well. And then 8 o'clock Eastern for the auction. Fun times. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you very much to Authenticator Jay and Tevia for joining. And yeah, once again, have a good night.
Cheers, guys.